Matt Brown and student athletes AJ Mercurio and Richie Cannell. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach. Then we'll take questions for the student athletes, dismiss the student athletes to the locker room, and then take questions for Coach. Coach Brown?
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for everybody for being here. Obviously, tough moment in there in the locker room. So, apologize if I get a little emotional, but I'm proud of these guys. Got our program back to where we belong, and they don't feel it now. They don't recognize it now, but they will. And they should be really, really proud of what they've done for our university and our lacrosse program. And they battled. I felt like we probably needed to have a perfect game today, and that we did not. But through the course of the 60 minutes, these guys just continued to compete like they did all year long. And so we're disappointed, we're upset, as we should be. This is a big moment, it's the pinnacle of lacrosse, but I couldn't be more proud of the men that we have in our locker room.
Thank you, Coach. Show of hands for questions. We've got 2 microphones on the side. They will come give it to you. Please, on your first question, address your name and what media affiliation you're with.
Patrick Stevens with Lacrosse Magazine and the Denver Post today. AJ, I know you guys were playing a lot of defense today. Just how difficult was it to kind of hang in there, and what did you feel like kind of happened in the second half after you guys were able to gamely keep it together there for the first half?
When a bunch of great players have the ball for a consistent amount of time, it's obviously tough to stop them every single time. But our defense, we put up a damn good fight and really made them work for everything that they got. And fortunately, they just came out with one today.
AJ and Coach, it must have been really hot down there. All I can think is following up on that last question. It must have worn you down a little bit, and in the second half, your goalie had a tough stretch there with a lot of goals in a short amount of time. Do you think the heat could have hurt his focus?
I don't think it was the heat. I think we've played in heat like that, a couple times this year. Tell you what, Malcolm had a heck of a first half. He came up with some big saves, and he kept us in it for a number of stretches. And so we just think at the end of the day, when you don't capitalize, we failed to clear the ball a few times in a row. Those turn into longer extended possessions. And as great as our defense plays, which I thought in moments today they were fantastic, just like they've been all year long. But as great as you are as a defensive unit, if they have the ball for that long stretch periods of times, things will get a little sloppy from time to time. But I'm so proud of Malcolm and the season that he's had. He's really stepped up. And I'll be honest with you, at the beginning of the year, I had no idea if Malcolm was going to be our starter or not. I was under the impression that we might have to go with a two-man rotation. And he just continued to impress us over and over again and play great in big minutes.
Reminder that we're going to hold questions for Coach until the end. So we're going to take questions for the student athletes right now.
This is Pat Bernard with Edge of Philly Sports. Quick question for you guys, coaches and players. I'd like to know what made it so hard going against that Notre Dame defense. I mean, you guys hung with the best of the best. I mean, they were the champions of last year. You guys took it to them down to the wire. But what made it so hard for them to defend against?
I think during the game, the first half, we obviously came out hot and we were scoring. We weren't really having trouble, moving the ball. The pressure wasn't getting to us. They came out in the second half and made halftime adjustments, and we kind of just didn't adjust to those adjustments well. Credit their defense. They're a hell of a defense. We got, I think, one of the best defenses in the country. I don't think this game defines us, kind of as our coaches have said, but they're a heck of a defense, and I think we just kind of lacked ball movement towards the end. But kind of credit to them.
Hey, Coach, how are you? My question is, the coach is
We're gonna hold questions for Coach until the end for the student athletes right now first,
I'm sorry.
okay?
I'm Christian with Inside Lacrosse. Richie, may I ask you your goal right before halftime? Were you on a different midfield line on that stretch? Can you take me through maybe the goal? And also, what was the message at halftime? It was 5 forward. You had some momentum.
Yeah, going into that halftime, I think, it was just a momentum goal. Obviously getting one there, only down one, going into the locker room kind of gave us some excitement and some juice to come back out. But I think, sorry, what was your second question?
Were you part of a different midfield on that goal?
We've kind of had just like a 7-man rotation this whole year. So it's kind of just, we start off with 2 lines, and then as the game goes on, we kind of, just adjust to matchups and that sort of thing. I don't completely remember, the midfield out there, but we kind of have 7 strong offensive midfields that everybody plays well. And I think the cool thing about our offense is we never know who's going to have a day, who's going to score 2, who's going to score 4 for us. So it kind of just, it kind of opens up and makes it hard to defend us, in my opinion.
AJ, to build off Richie's comment about how today doesn't define you guys, how would you ultimately define what this season was about for you guys, and just how joyful was it for you?
We all came back, these 5th years and seniors, we came back for a chance at the championship weekend, and that's exactly what we got. We are a gritty team. We fought tooth and nail every single game. We had overtime wins. We went against top 10, top 5 teams and came out victorious. So, it was really just kind of getting back to the Pioneer way.
Richie, Dan Arestia from Sticks in Lacrosse. It felt like tempo of the game was going to be something that was a key for you guys, and as Coach said in his open, it felt like you would need to play your best game, even a perfect game. As you try to control tempo on the offensive side, do you feel a pressure to make sure that every possession, ends as efficiently as it can?
I think the key to our success was kind of just slowing the game down and us having control of the game. I think kind of in the middle of or towards the beginning of the game, we were using every possession, whether it was using the entire shot clock or getting to a good shot. And I think towards the end of the second half / the second half, we kind of just shot early in possessions and didn't have full control like we did in the first half. So to answer your question, I think that's what kind of credits that.
Last question for the student athletes.
David Melandro, Sports Talk Philadelphia, for the players. Did Notre Dame surprise? Going into the second half, did anything that Notre Dame show you surprise you at all? Especially how you guys got the lead down to 1.
I don't think anything surprised us. I think we were ready for everything. Our coaches, credit all of our coaching staff. They do an incredible job for us. They're the best mentors I've personally ever had. I don't think anything surprised us. I think it was just, they kind of took control towards the second half, and we weren't able to gain it back. But credit them and credit our coaching staff for doing the best job that they possibly can. And, love these guys to death. So.
Thank you, gentlemen. You may go back to the locker room. Questions for Coach? Start over here.
Matt, I'm Christian with Inside Lacrosse. May I ask about the face-offs? I think it's been a while since Denver, with Baptiste and Hackett this year have been so good. Can you take me through the face-offs and what you were seeing?
Well, they've got a great face-off man, and so do we. And it was a battle out there. I didn't think that we did a great job of supporting staff off the wings. I thought, especially early on in the game, we had some loose ball opportunities that we just didn't get our nose over it. We just didn't scoop through it, and possession led to them. When you look at this thing, it's not a one-on-one battle. It's a 3-on-3 battle. We tried to change up our patterns on the wings. We tried to move around a little bit to see if we could get him to put the ball in some different spots. But Alex Stathakis is one of the greatest warriors I've ever been around, and proud of the year that he's had. He didn't have a great day today, but you know what? This guy is going to continue to have a great future. He'll be a future PLL, player. There's no doubt in my mind that Kurt Malowski's getting a great one with the Vancouver Warriors in the National Lacrosse League. This guy just embodies everything that our program is about, and he's been our leader, and one of our leaders since the first day he stepped on campus.
Yeah, Coach, my question for you is the coach's challenge. What was that about? 'Cause we couldn't hear or anything. We could just see. We don't know what's going on.
The coach's challenge?
Yes.
Well, I think it's at that point in the game, you know, you're in the fourth quarter, it's a crease dive, they call a no goal, the ball goes in. I got 2 timeouts in my hand. I'm going to throw it regardless to see if maybe they see something that they didn't see during live play. Also thought maybe it could give us a stoppage so we could jump into a 10-man and try to turn the ball back over. But you know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know at the time. But you know, you can throw it at that moment.
Matt, between their depth and running 3 midfields and just their off-ball movement on a few of those goals, just how much pressure do they apply to you, regardless of whether they have the ball a ton or not?
Yeah, they do a great job. Obviously, they're a heck of a lacrosse team. You know, they play well as a unit. They're well coached. They've got some great individual players. They do move off ball extremely well. I thought we did a pretty good job in a lot of possessions of handling them. But if you have a slip or you have a fall or you fan off on a ground ball, they picked it up. That in the scramble situations, that's when they're deadly, you know, and they're hard. They're hard to play against. You know, they ride like no other. I know a lot of people have been talking about their ride. I thought we prepared as best as we possibly could for it this week. We put 4 attackmen down riding in practice to try to simulate that. But they just, credit to Notre Dame. They did a great job, and they outplayed us in a couple moments that were vital in the game.
We're gonna go here and then here.
Tracy Happel-Brown with In Lacrosse We Trust. You got emotional at the beginning, phenomenal season. Talk about how you use those moments, not only from the entire season, but what you learned today to set your program. You have a lot of talented guys still playing next year. So talk about how you move on from this and set your team up for success in the future.
Yeah, I think for our younger guys that are returning, and you're right, I feel like we got great depth across all the classes in our locker room. You got to use this experience as motivation. There's nothing else like it. You know, from winning a quarterfinal game to getting back here to being at the hotels to coming to the beautiful stadium like we are here today at the Link. You get the police escort into the stadium. This is a big deal, and I've been fortunate enough to be a part of, you know, a few of these weekends. But for the guys in that locker room, this was their first taste. They haven't tasted anything like this before, and so we got a lot of talented young men in there, and we got a lot of gritty guys, as AJ talked about. So I just hope they continue to use this as motivation and say, hey, we want to get back here again. We want more. We want to experience more of this. And I just got to say, I got to thank our administration. It's just we are at a special place with special people. I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. Our hockey team's the all-time greatest hockey program in the history of college hockey. But we're also a lacrosse school, and there's not many places in the country that can say that. And I'm so proud, always and every day, to be a Pioneer.
Jordan Johnson, Next Level Sports and Entertainment. Coach, was there a particular moment, whether it be in the tournament or the regular season, where you knew this team was going to be special and was bound to make a run?
Well, I believed in this team from the get-go. I think the connection that they have, you know, when you're around teams and you know you got a special group, you see how well connected they are. And we did a ranch trip at the beginning of January, and we went away for a couple nights, and it was so neat to see guys outside of their lacrosse element, you know, and how they interacted with each other. You know, we did some team building stuff. We read the book of Peter Barton, who our stadium's named after, and I thought that was important for our guys to know where they're playing on a daily basis. Each group had to do a little report on the chapter, and I knew right away, and I think you saw it with this group on opening weekend against Hopkins. You go into historic Homewood, and we're down maybe 4 or 5 goals at least once in the game, maybe multiple times in the game, and there just wasn't any quit. They just kept chipping away to end up winning a game against a top-ranked opponent in overtime. And so I think that moment right there for the guys, I knew that they had it in them. I think for them, it kind of proved to them what they were capable of doing.
Take the last one right here.
Coach, I can tell you're very passionate about the team and the program. And this time of year, you're really playing for one more practice, you know? And I just like your comments on the finality of when you lose in the semifinals and it's all over.
Well, it's tough. And listen, there's only one team that is truly, completely happy at the end of this whole thing. I've been fortunate enough to experience that once before. I've been on this side of the equation, you know, a lot of times. But it will take a while, you know, and as I told them in the locker room, you'll gain better perspective as time kind of goes on. And they just need to know that what they've done for our program and our school to get us back on this map it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you know, last night we put a video together of some of our former players that have played in this stage, in this moment, and they kind of just sent a quick little message, and it was about a 15-minute video, and I told these guys, you're going to be those guys here in 5 to 10 years. You're going to be sending that video back to that next group that's going to be on Memorial Day weekend. And so I'm just so proud of our players, so proud of our program, our school, our university, and I'm thankful for everybody for being here. And thanks to the host for putting on such an amazing Memorial Day weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.